안녕하세요. Hi, my name is Jessie Cho, a board member of Korean American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. I'm a real estate broker and chief marketing officer of CPGI based in Fullerton. I have been a part of KACC-TV for almost 8 years and assisted in Asian Business Expo every year, but this virtual expo is our first breakthrough event. I am super excited and honored to be your MC today. The Korean American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County, also known as KACC-TV, is a nonprofit organization comprised of business and community leaders in the region. KACC-TV was established in 1978 and has been the bridge between small businesses and local governments to promote economic development. KACC-TV provides diverse networking opportunities such as the Virtual Asian Business Expo and educational seminars. 2020 Virtual Asian Business Expo is a virtual trade show that includes a free to attend interactive online exhibition with live product demos. The virtual expo that you downloaded will provide extensive networking capabilities that will enable attendees to network in real time via messaging and video calls. And best of all, this function will be available throughout the year for you to enjoy and network virtually and conveniently. So without a further ado, let me introduce to you our chairman of 2020 Virtual Asian Business Expo, Mr. Joseph Kim.
네, 안녕하십니까? 오늘이 이제 저희 행사의 마지막 날입니다. 오늘 이 행사가 있기까지 참 여러 가지로 어려운 일이 이제 많았습니다. 그러나 때마다 이 행사를 자원하여 돕는 분들이 나타나서 오늘 이 행사가 있게 된 것입니다. 이 행사가 처음으로 하는 버추얼 엑스포라서 진행하는 과정에 부족한 부분들도 있었습니다. 많은 이해와 양해를 부탁을 드리겠습니다. 이번 엑스포는 일회성 행사가 아니라 1년 동안 지속되는 이제 행사입니다. 즉 오늘이 이 행사의 마지막 날이기는 하지만 바로 또 다른 시작의 날이기도 합니다. 추후 이 행사의 지속적인 업데이트 공지가 있을 예정입니다. 지속적인 관심과 참여를 부탁을 드리겠습니다. 그리고 또 주변에 있는 분들에게도 이런 좋았던 버추얼 엑스포가 있다는 것을 또 알려주시기 바랍니다. 다시 한번 오늘 행사를 위해서 후원해 주신 분들과 참여해 주신 벤더분들 그리고 세미나 강사님들 깊이 감사드립니다. 오늘 이 자리에 오셔서 시간을 내주시는 분들에게도 모두 감사드리고 좋은 결과가 있기를 기대하겠습니다. 내년에 꼭 또 뵙겠습니다. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Today is the last day. There were many difficult things before this event today, but every time people volunteered to help this event and it happened today. This was the first virtual expo event, so there was some shortcomings in the process. Please understand and understand. This expo is not a one-time event, but a year-long event. Today is the last day of the event, but it is also start right away. There will be a continuous update notice for this event in the future. We look forward to your continued interest and participation. Once again, thank you so much to the vendor and seminar instructors who sponsored today's event. Thank you all for coming here today and looking forward to seeing good result. See you again next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joseph. He worked tireless nights to make this possible. So thank you so much for your opening remark. Next is the welcoming remark by Jay Ungos, President-elect of Asian Business Association of Orange County.
Hello, my name is Jay Ungos, President-elect for Asian Business Association of Orange County. I want to give a congratulations to Brian Chung and the Korean Chamber for your successful event. I'm really looking forward to next year and collaborating with you and your members and bringing more value to our community. Thank you, congratulations again, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Next, we have Joseph, President of Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County.
Hello, good afternoon. Joseph, President, Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. I want to congratulate the Korean American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County for holding actually a very successful event. Had a great time yesterday. Looking forward to another event today. On behalf of our board of directors, to KACC-TV, congratulations. Looking forward to next year. Mabuhay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. So next, Andrew Saw, President of Korean American Logistics Association, would like to say a word.
Hi, my name is Andrew Saw, President of Korean American Logistics Association. I am honored to be here today, joining the great 2020 Virtual Asian Business Expo. This special event will connect many businesses together and bring successful outcomes. I would like to thank the host, Korean American Chambers of Commerce of Orange County, and many sponsors and all the volunteers who made this great event possible. 2020 has been a difficult year for most of us, especially for Asian American businesses, which rely heavily on trade with China. Also, the shipping rates from Asia to West Coast has been all-time high, almost 3 times higher than last year. To make the business more difficult, we also have a drivers and equipment shortage at Long Beach and Los Angeles ports. There are so many obstacles to hurdle. However, there are some good signs also. E-commerce is growing at record pace, and 79% of Amazon volumes arrive at Long Beach, Los Angeles ports. We still have a great business opportunities here. We Korean American Logistics Association members will be ready to support your business support. Good luck and stay strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saw. Next, we have Catherine Nguyen, President of Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. Please welcome Catherine.
Again, thank you so much for KACC for having the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce join. This is our 5th year, I want to say, working together. We have a great collaborative partnership in the past few years, and we want to continue to do so moving forward. So congratulations to Brian and his board for having this wonderful virtual business expo. And thank you for having me again.
Thank you so much, Catherine. We look forward to working with you. Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce has worked with us many times with Asian Business Expo, so we always appreciate your collaboration. Thank you, Catherine. So next we have, last but not least, Teresa Harvey, and she's the president of North Orange County Chamber, also known as NOCC.
Afternoon. It's our pleasure to have the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce again participate in this great expo. The 2020 Virtual Asian Business Expo is certainly a one-of-a-kind event. And congratulations to all of you on such a remarkable turnout and a remarkable presentation. Our chamber's mission is to promote the prosperity of our businesses in the community and promote a well-trained workforce, and to advocate for legislation that will assist business growth. This event today represents the diversity that keeps our community rich and really highlights the benefits of collaborating and working together across cultural lines. Exports will indeed continue to be a great growth as we introduce new international markets to the US and export products around the world. Our Chamber of Commerce is really proud to be a partner in presenting certificates of origin for those sending products overseas, among the many offers that we provide businesses, large and small. We're so grateful to be a part of this program again this year. Thank you again for allowing us to partner with you. I look forward to a conclusion of an exciting event later on this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So now we're gonna move on to guest speakers segment. But before we do, I just wanted to remind everyone that, we've experienced a little bit of glitch or delay. It really depends on your bandwidth of home internet connection. So if you do experience some kind of delay, maybe you want to exit the app and come back in and try to reset, and there shouldn't be an issue. So please understand and be patient with us, and we will try to make this expo as smooth as possible. And we really appreciate you participating and attending our special event. And without further ado, I wanted to move forward to introducing to you this afternoon's first guest speaker, Dr. Eugene Kim. He's actually a friend of mine, and he wanted to speak about health industry updates of the COVID-19 pandemic. Eugene is the Regional Chief Medical Officer for Providence St. Joseph Health. Dr. Kim provides clinical leadership and oversees the healthcare strategy for over 10 medical groups and affiliated networks in Southern California. And he's also a father, and I met Eugene through community nonprofit events. So he's also actively participating in community efforts. So I am very pleased and honored to introduce to you Dr. Eugene Kim.
So I'll share my screen in a second. It's an honor to participate in this, and excited, and everybody's learning to adapt, that's for sure. And just having this Asian Business Expo, I think it's great. I personally, I'm born and raised in rural Ohio. I came over to Southern California in 2005. So where I grew up, there weren't a whole lot of Kims, but in Southern California, if I throw a rock outside my window, I'll probably hit 5 Kims along the way. And so it's just really cool to see Asian businesses and the Asian community just come together to strengthen and be here for our community. And so I'm going to try to share my screen, and I'll go to the full screen. So talking about healthcare and what we've done since the pandemic it's a broad topic. And so I'm going to try to go over just some basic things in a short period of time, and hopefully there's some time for questions. But going over just an introduction, very brief introduction to my organization, and then just as a backdrop, going to talk about economic trends in healthcare that even were happening before COVID. And then with all the different things we could talk about in terms of how healthcare responded to COVID, I wanted to focus a little bit on, or particularly on telehealth and how we're taking care of patients remotely, and what implications that has in the future. Those two things, the trends in healthcare, as well as what we're able to do remotely, and how that could potentially impact future decisions and strategy for healthcare. So I'm going to give this disclaimer, because then the amount of times that my friends, colleagues, relatives, family have come to me about asking questions regarding the COVID. What is true today is true today. So everything is subject to change without notice at any given point in time. Even when we came to early on, what we do with testing, what we do with PPE, we're much, much better now than we were back in February and March. But just know that what is true today is only true for today in a lot of senses. And so going over our organization, my organization, it's a pretty big organization. So Providence St. Joseph Health, or probably better known as Providence, expands all across the Western United States and all the way to Texas, all the way from Alaska to Texas. And here's just a bunch of numbers on here in terms of the number of physicians that are in some of the medical groups. And in Orange County in particular, better known as St. Joseph Healthcare, or the hospitals you probably recognize are St. Jude Medical Center, St. Joseph Medical Center, and Mission Heritage down in Mission Viejo. These are the hospitals that about 4 years ago combined and merged with the larger Providence system. And all great medical centers, acclaimed for a lot of things and ranked in the US News and World Report, et cetera. And so I'll go over this really quickly, just to know that our organization as a whole is big. A lot of doctors, a lot of clinics, a lot of staff, a lot of patients cared for, a lot of patient visits, and a lot of costs and a lot of revenue that kind of run through our large non-for-profit faith-based healthcare organization. And in Orange County, and in particular, you'll recognize our names again, the hospitals that I mentioned before, and there are, in our organization, there are medical groups that are closely aligned with those hospitals. And then on this map, you'll see the yellow dots are where our bigger aligned medical groups are. And then the red dots are all the other physicians and practices that are affiliated with our organization in some form or fashion. And so you see, you have a pretty widespread and good geography here in Orange County. All right, so what I'll start to get into is where healthcare has been going, even before COVID. And I'll say this is pretty much the way it has gone. COVID, if anything, maybe accelerated it a little bit. And so there, you'll see this comic here, the physicians on the left saying, why are our healthcare costs higher than other countries? And then USA, eating the chicken thigh and or maybe turkey thigh, and soda saying, who said that? And it's no secret to say that the United States, if you paid attention to healthcare at all, like United States spending per capita is one of the highest in the world, but our healthcare outcomes are not the best when you compare it to like countries like of similar wealth. And so there's a problem with our healthcare system, and that's why it's such a hotly debated topic in politics today. I won't try to get into that. I know the election is coming up very soon, but want to kind of talk about a trend that's going on in healthcare is value-based care. And so what does that mean? So value is simply quality over cost, right? So quality divided by cost. And historically in our country, we've been much more like fee for service or pay for what you get, meaning physicians and hospitals will get reimbursed when sick patients come get services and procedures, which is needed. Those things are absolutely needed. But then if you keep patients healthy and well, and they don't get sick and they don't require those things, that actually ended up paying you less, right? And so it seems sometimes a little bit backwards at times, and you're seeing a much more shift towards value versus what traditionally is that fee for service. And we all have heard how much healthcare is a percent of the GDP, and how that cost is not sustainable. And that's why all these everybody's trying to figure a way out. And I'll be frank, I'm simplifying it a lot. Healthcare is very complicated, so there's no quick and easy solution. But we have to do what we can to kind of figure this out and make sure it's best for the patient, right? You want to, as a patient, want to have high quality and not like go bankrupt from that. And so how can we provide the best value care? That we at Providence are really pushing to do that. You've seen Kaiser really go towards this as well. But how can we do this? Because that's the right thing to do for our community, right? And as a nonprofit, faith-based healthcare organization, we really want to strive for that. So how can we have the highest quality and do it the most efficiently? And so there's a simple graph that many people may or may not have seen. And so the top line, the blue line that's starting at the top and going down, that's the traditional way that we charge and we get reimbursed for what we do. So if you're sick and you come to the hospital, we do a lot of complicated things. We charge a lot and we get money. And then the purple line is starting on the lower and then going up. That's the value-based reimbursement. That's what we're talking about, paying for value. And you've heard a lot about this in the news, and there's accountable care organizations and like plans that really are incentivizing based off of the value that is delivered. And I won't get into all the terminology of that. Just stay at a high level, because that in itself is a whole lecture. But we've been in this period between these two dotted lines, this revenue transition period of before it's fee for service, but we're finding that that's not sustainable in Medicare, and other payers are starting to reduce the amount they're paying for service and moving more and more to this value-based reimbursement. And so a lot of people are, where are we in this and how do you time it? It's like timing the stock market. It's really hard to predict, but we're definitely in this period. And I believe those that are more forward thinking are moving as much as possible to this value-based reimbursement, because that's where the future is. And that's how we, honestly, I mean, I keep saying it, that the mission of what we do is really important to me. So we need to make sure we take good quality care of our patients, and do it in a way that's affordable for everybody. I think that's our obligation as healthcare professionals, and our obligation as a country, and et cetera, and healthcare organizations. So Kaiser has been on this road for a long time on that purple line, that value-based reimbursement. And I fully believe if you want to be a blockbuster, then you stay on the blue line. If you want to be Netflix, you got to get on this purple line. And that's where many organizations are going. And it's easy to see this on a graph, and it's theoretical, but what is actually happening? What are patients choosing to do, right? And this is a graph of, you could be straight Medicare, which is a fee-for-service product, or you could be like a Medicare Advantage, which is like a Medicare HMO, where how that works is the health plan will give a doctor, a hospital, a healthcare organization, we're going to give you X amount of money, and you take care of the patient the best you can. If you keep that patient very healthy and thriving and staying at home and doing well, then that's going to be beneficial for the patient and for the organization. If that patient does well, we're not doing the preventative screenings, and they get sick, and we end up spending a lot of care and resources to care for the patient, then financially the healthcare organizations aren't going to do as well. So that's how I'll summarize what Medicare Advantage is. It's like that's how that compensation works. And if you take a look from 1999 to 2020, that's millions of people in America that are enrolled in a Medicare Advantage product. And so that went from like as low as 5.3 million to 24.1 million. That's a big number, but then what does it mean? And you'll see below, it's kind of small, but it says that's 36% of Medicare beneficiaries. And that trend is continuing to go up and up. And so again, if you want to be blockbuster, stay on that blue line. But if you want to be Netflix, you want to stay on that purple line for value-based. So again, that's just a backdrop, I think, where healthcare has been going, and that didn't really change with COVID. It may have gotten accelerated a little bit, because then you see people not going for care and all those things. And then if you're on that fee-for-service model, you took a much bigger hit financially, and a lot of hospitals and institutions really were feeling that. And so, but understanding that backdrop, a specific response to COVID was telehealth. Typically, you see your physician in the office. That's typically how it's done. And did telehealth exist prior to COVID? Absolutely. Were people using it that much? Not really, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that, including how things were reimbursed and the technology and just that change management of getting people, both patients and physicians, used to it. But COVID, when March 16th happened, and there was a shelter in place, everybody had to figure out what to do, and not just from the business side, but we had to figure out how are we going to take care of our patients. There are patients with chronic medical conditions, acute medical conditions that we needed to figure out how to care for, and we needed to pivot very quickly. And of course, telehealth is very convenient on top of that as well. So it's a really big win for patients. So this is our organization. It's too small to read, but this is a number of telehealth visits that we did over time. So did it exist before COVID? Yes, but we were in like single digits trying this out. And then that first box is work from home or shelter in place, and you see it to start to pick up. And you see the next spike. We had an official launch for telehealth for our organization, and we got, I mean, this was like pivoting like thousands of doctors and clinics in a short period of time. Like, look, we're going to get Zoom. We're going to get everybody a license. I wish I bought Zoom stock at that point, but we're going to get everybody up and running. And we did it in such a short period of time because I fully believe is, people get into health because they want to do because they want to take care of people. And sometimes things can be slow and whatnot, but there was a burning platform here. It's like, how are we going to care for our patients if they're not going to come to our offices? And so you see this exponential growth of telehealth. And it wasn't, this is through April, but it wasn't, now we're sort of leveling off. So this wasn't just a one-time phenomenon. Telehealth is here to stay. And so you're not going to be able to read all this, but the top blue line is our face-to-face normal traditional visit. The orange line is the telehealth visit. And the purple line is telephone visit, which is always less than 1%. But the telehealth visit meaning I'm on a Zoom or Doximity, whatever platform you're using, and I can see you just like you can see me via video, and we do an encounter. And it's settling out for all comers in that 25% range of telehealth visits. So 75% roughly is the face-to-face, and 25% is roughly that telehealth, and that's for all specialties. And if you go into some specialties, it'll be more or less. So primary care, you see your primary care doc, that's a little bit higher, that 30% plus. And then some specialties like endocrinology, the doctors you see for your diabetes and thyroid, they're doing a very high percentage because that specialty lends to it, right? And then there's some specialties like surgical subspecialties where they need to, we still need to lay hands at times, and the telehealth visit can do a lot of things, but it can't do everything. And so those specialties will have lower percentages of telehealth visits. But patients love it. It's very convenient, and it's able to help our access as well too. So sometimes you have a hard time seeing your physician. This has really helped with the access part of it too, as in the background, everybody's scrambling, figuring out logistically how to get this done. And we've come a long way since then. And one more topic regarding like technology and remote monitoring. When COVID was hitting really hard in Orange County in July, our hospitals were getting pretty full, and we were worried about, I don't know if we're going to have enough capacity to take care of everybody. And so if we admitted every COVID patient, we would be out of capacity. And so there are patients who had COVID and were sick, but not so sick that you knew they were going to be in the hospital, but you're like, oh, I'd like to keep a closer eye on them. And so those patients, they, before may have just stayed one night in the hospital just to keep an eye on them. But we're like, if we do that for every COVID patient, we're not going to have any hospital beds. And so we found a way to, our system, Providence, found a way like, let's send patients home. They get a pulse ox monitor, which measures your oxygen level. You get a thermometer that measures your temperature. And we have a platform that we used called Twistle, where the patients would interact with it, tell us their symptoms and the measurements on the pulse oximeter, the oxygen level, as well as their temperature. And this would be all sent remotely to a nurse or nurses who are monitoring all these parameters. And then if something's concerning, they would reach out to the patient and call. And then if patients are really sick, they go back to the hospital. But the vast majority of patients did well and were monitored and kept home and then discontinued from the program, which was a great success, which really was great for the patients and also helpful for our hospitals to make sure that we had the capacity to take care of sicker patients. And so, and patients loved it. It's just an example of technology really paving the way for a lot of this, and COVID being that burning platform. And so I won't read all this, but patients were happy. 98% of the patients felt safe. They felt it was easy to use. They were likely to recommend it. And some of the comments were, I feel safer checking my symptoms frequently. Thanks for your help. It has helped me, and the follow-up from the staff has been great. If your information gets uploaded wrong, I don't think it can be improved any, because we're asking, can it be improved? It has been great. And so you see that it's been a good clinical benefit. And I think a lot of this, as we see our economy changing to be very, very consumer centric, healthcare has been we're so behind in all of that. But this forced us to kind of get on that bus faster, get on the train that's already moving that way to make sure we're very consumer centric. And on top of that, which helps immensely, is that there are like changes at the state and federal level that make this more sustainable. Because then before we would do it and we don't get paid for it, it's hard to make it sustainable. But the Assembly Bill 744 in California, actually before COVID, was saying that commercial payers, not Medicare, but commercial payers have to reimburse equally for the same level of visit if it were to be in person, which was awesome. And then CMS, our federal government, has also been moved that way, and they're likely going to make that permanent. And on top of that, they're expanding into other services, including like cardiac rehab. And so you go from the doctor's visit to other services that can, they go and you see where things are going, and we want to make sure we stay ahead of that curve. So what does that mean for future implications? Those like understanding the backdrop of value-based care and technology as a result of COVID. I think real estate is one thing. You see this empty waiting room. Before COVID, you go to the doctor's offices, and if they're good, they're busy because everybody wants to see them, and you're just stuck in the office waiting next to a bunch of other people. We couldn't do that and keep people safe. And so with technology, it affects the real estate. We may not need these big waiting rooms. And honestly, we may not need all the as many exam rooms as we did before. And even with staffing, getting to that is how many of our staff and caregivers are struggling because they need to watch their kids at home who are doing school through Zoom. And so can we find ways where we can have staff work at home sometimes, especially if we're checking in patients virtually, and same with physicians. And so you think about that, if we could have access to more patients, better access for patients, and we are able to improve the process where the waiting room isn't really used that much, like how we think about medical office buildings in the future can be very different. And so we're still figuring that out. That is something that we have to keep an eye on. And further technology is, how is that going to work? There's so many companies coming out with how can we do cardiac rehab at home? Kaiser's been doing this for a little while, but that's going to expand. You know, how can we take COVID home monitoring to more things like congestive heart failure, the COPD, other skin infection, whatever it may be? How can we take that to take care of patients safely, conveniently, and efficiently at home? And so I think that is my last slide. So I'll just end there. I know COVID can go a lot of different directions. I just wanted to focus on these two topics, but I'm open to any questions that you guys may have relating to this or otherwise.
If you have any questions, feel free to send in the Q&A. You can click on Q&A on the bottom right and type in the questions, and Dr. Kim will be able to answer you. And if we don't have the opportunity to answer your questions, then we'll be more than happy to follow up afterwards. So please feel free to engage when you like. And thank you so much for this informative information. And I know he has many hats, but we really appreciate you taking the time to present to us this very important health industry information. Thank you very much. And if there isn't any Q&A, is there any Q&As that I should be reading off, or?
I can see a couple, Jesse. Should I just address them? So can you hear me?
Are you able to read that, Dr. Kim?
There's just a couple of questions. One is, I guess, for you, will the videos be available later to the participants?
Yes, absolutely. You're free to always log into the app, and it will be available. These are being recorded. So that's the benefit of being the attendee. It will be available for the entire year. So you're more than welcome to revisit and take advantage of our technology. That's the fun of being involved with Virtual Expo. So yes.
And then there's another question on the PPE or protective equipment supply, and we're doing much better now. It was crazy in March. I was like, I mean, people were asking anybody for masks because there weren't any to be bought. But now the PPE situation is just far better. I think we've learned much more about the disease, which is helpful. And then over these 8 months, the supply has been much better. We're not feeling the crunch like we did before. So it is good. We're able to give actually for the whole time we've been able to, but we feel much more comfortable in our supply situation now than we did previously.
So I guess safe to assume that we are well protected. We have sufficient supplies, and we don't have to go through what we went through back March. And I think we all learned from, it was the first time for all of us. So thank you for sharing that. Is that going to wrap up your presentation, Eugene?
That's all I have, and that's all the questions that I've seen.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I know you're super busy. We will send you some questions if there are further questions. But again, we really appreciate your collaboration with us today.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. It is raffle time. And it is, we have prepared Apple AirPod that's valued at $130. We're going to draw 4 times. So we're going to have 4 lucky winners, but you can only win once throughout the 2-day expo. So if we select a winner from yesterday, unfortunately, we're going to have to spin again. So once we select the 4 winners, then we will be contacting each winner by email to figure out how we can deliver the lucky prize. So are you feeling lucky today? I am. And I don't have Apple products, but if I win this, I'm definitely going to buy a bunch of Apple products. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Go. The lucky winner is Kevin Yoon. Congratulations. And I know he's in the tech business, so this is perfect for him. Congratulations. Okay, we're gonna go number 2. Ready? Go. Stop. Mr. Ted John, congratulations. All right, so we're gonna go move on to 3rd lucky winner. Ready? Go. Stop. Mr. J. Dong-yeol. Mr. Pae Dong-yeol is the 3rd lucky winner. Last but not least, we're gonna find out who the 4th AirPod winner is. Ready? Go. Tina Kim. I think she's our guest speaker today. So congratulations, well deserved. Thank you so much. Congratulations, all 4 winners. We will be contacting you so that we can deliver AirPods. Very lucky. Have a wonderful day, lucky winners. And continue to stay with us, stay tuned. And we're gonna move right along to the guest speaker number 2. And the next guest speakers are from the same office. It's Paul Smith and Sylvia Gutierrez. Paul Smith is an economic development specialist and women's business outreach representative of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Orange County, Inland Empire District Office. Sylvia Gutierrez is an economic development specialist and women's business outreach representative and works in the same office as Paul. I'm sure many of us benefited from the SBA relief and resources. We are grateful for Paul and Sylvia's presentation. Let's welcome Paul and Sylvia.
Sharing the programs and services of the U.S. Small Business Administration to the community. We are very grateful to be here and with my colleague, Paul Smith. Actually, he has the same title as I do, Economic Development Specialist, and he is also the District International Trade Officer. I'm sure that many of you have worked with him in many programs. And Paul, do you want to say a few words while I pull up my presentation?
Yes, I want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I couldn't stop smiling because we all know putting on these programs can be a challenge, but they're getting better and better all the time. And it's just a pleasure to be here to serve the community and bring you really very, very valuable information, particularly now during these times. So Sylvia, are you ready?
Yes, can you see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is wonderful. Okay, so I think a lot of you and those of you that are not familiar with the SBA is a federal government agency that was created 67 years ago precisely to help entrepreneurs start and grow a business. And let me just read to you the mission of the SBA. Okay, since its founding, the SBA has delivered millions of dollars in loans, loan guarantees, contracts, counseling sessions, and other forms of assistance to small businesses. The SBA was created in 1967. And Paul, I know you're really good at this. How many, do you want to talk about the nationwide services of the SBA?
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Sylvia and I have done these programs together, so we're pretty comfortable speaking to you. I don't think there's been any other time in history that SBA is playing a larger role than they are now. As Sylvia said, we provide management, technical assistance, counseling, certifications, and loan guarantees. We have 68 or 69 offices nationwide. We also fund a number of resource partners, which include the Small Business Development Centers, the Women Business Centers, and SCORE volunteers. And I'm very proud to be part of this network because at this time, the value that they bring to the community is just amazing. Sylvia?
Yes. Here is who we are as presenters today. And let's move to the next one. The SBA is a very neat agency that you can package our programs into 4 different clusters, 4 different pillars. And altogether, what we can do is help you plan your business, help you launch your business, arrange your business, and grow your business through the programs that we have from our resource partners, which is management and technical assistance, like counseling one-on-one, courses, education, training, and also participating in seminars like the one we are doing today to explain to you how to take advantage of the SBA programs and services to grow your business. So this is what we do: start, grow, recover, and expand. And in terms of recovery, I'm gonna let Paul talk a little bit about recovery. But let me give you some figures before he can tell us a little bit about our 2 loan programs. Just this year, the SBA has provided more counseling, more loans, more assistance than in its entire 67 years of existence. For example, the SBA has processed over but through the lenders and the internal program, over $9 million loans worth more than $750 billion. And I hope a lot of you have taken advantage of the EIDL or the PPP program. Oh, you want to talk a little bit about that? We're going to
Well, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, to kind of keep this familiar, there are two programs that were launched by SBA that you may have been aware of, the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And as Sylvia said, I'd like to put this in perspective for you. Last year, disaster assistance had 61,000 loans, I think. And this year, they have over 14 to 15 million loans in process. And the budget that she mentioned is really fast approaching that spent on DOD's budget this year, which is just an amazing achievement for SBA, its partners, and it's been expanding to meet this immediate need. And every one of the district offices is playing an active role. We have daily calls, we're answering questions the best we can. And I just like to say that we're with you as a community. Now, Sylvia, it's important to mention too that our counseling that's provided is also provided in multilingual languages too, because we have people that English is not their first language. Maybe you could address that a little bit.
Yes, yes, thank you. For example, we mentioned in the beginning, let me go back to this slide, the SBA provides counseling not only through the SBA district office, which is located in Santa Ana, but we service Orange County, San Bernardino, and Riverside. And a lot of the counseling is also provided by our resource partners, consisting of the Women Business Centers, SCORE, and the Small Business Development Centers. It is by appointment, one-on-one, and is free of charge. As many consulting sessions as you need to help you plan your business, pivot your business like a lot of businesses are doing right now, or how to have access to government contracts, or how to look into exporting. And right now with the disaster relief program, how to complete an application, how to apply for forgiveness, or just finding out what options are out there for you.
Sylvia, if I may interject here, last year's numbers, and this is a fairly close estimate, I think our district office alone, which was 3 counties, 1.7 billion in loan guarantees, that's excluding the COVID and PPP, and 120 million in government contracting. Maybe you want to just take a quick moment on government contracting since we had it up there.
Yes, that is a little bit later. Let's move to the general presentation here. Right now, we don't have time in just a little bit under an hour to be with you to explain in depth each one of the programs and services of the SBA. But if you go to our website, and especially to the resource guide, which you see right here, and the photos that you see on the cover of the resource guide, those are award winners of the SBA that receive awards during the Small Business Week program. But in-depth description of each one of our programs, you can find it in the resource guide or on our website. And here I have the link for you, but maybe we can put it on the chat room later on. Our resource partners are, as you know, SCORE, Small Business Development Centers, and the Women Business Centers. The Women Business Centers are located in the Inland Empire and Riverside because they need to be located to provide services to the communities that are far away from our office, at least 50 miles. So the Women Business Centers are located in the Inland Empire, in Riverside, and the Coachella Valley. But here in Orange County or Riverside and San Bernardino, you have access to SCORE. They have different chapters in Orange County, Coachella Valley, the Inland Empire, and also the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center and the Orange County Small Business Development Centers. They help us. They are our resource partners, and they help us provide training and counseling one-on-one.
Sylvia, if I might just quickly interject, you know what's exciting for me? You can reach them virtually now. And you know, the SCORE chapter is national. So if you're in a specific industry, aerospace, biotech, transportation, tourism, food, they have counselors that have experience in those areas. And if they're not in the local chapter, they'll be somewhere in the nation, and you can access them virtually for counseling.
Yes.
And the same for the SBDC too.
The same for the SBDC. And right now, Paul, you know, one of the exciting things that we have learned lately that each one of our resource partners is doing, they have received additional funding from the CARES Act to provide more counseling and more training. And the small business development centers, they have hired more consultants with multiple language skills to provide assistance to the community here. All you have to do is reach out to them here in Orange County or in the Inland Empire to let them know what your needs are, and they can go ahead and help you schedule an appointment. But another thing about funding, the cities locally and the representatives that are sitting here with us can attest to that. They are working with the Orange County Small Business Development Center and the LEAD Center to provide grants to small businesses. You can find out what those grants are, and there are about 20 cities providing grants out there for small businesses, having different requirements. So I encourage you to go to their website, and the website is listed here. In Inland, let's say Orange County SBDC.org or Inland Empire SBDC.org. You can look on their website and you can click on the city that you're interested in and see if you qualify for one of the grants that are available right now. I heard this morning that, for example, Riverside had a grant and that the grant had expired yesterday or today. But we heard from a representative from Riverside that they were going to extend it or open up another set of grants. So I encourage you to look at that website and see if you qualify for one of those grants, in addition to the loan programs that we mentioned a few minutes ago.
Well, you know, Sylvia, something I want to throw out there very quickly is the SBDCs actually do loan packaging too. So, you know, the word is being used, pivot or manage your expectations today. If you're a business and, you know, you're waiting to get money or things aren't happening the way they should as quick as you would like, the SBDC can help you source other sources of capital and actually help you write the loan package that you have to submit to the lender. And that's really always been a challenge for a lot of people. And this is an opportunity to address that.
Yes, exactly, because on our website, you can see a list of our lenders. There are over 100 lenders that participate on the SBA programs, the Guarantee SBA programs. And it is well known that when business consultants meet with the borrowers and help them prepare their loan package, they have better opportunities to secure a loan. And they also expedite the process because they receive assistance from an expert that knows the kind of documents that you need to put together in order to approach the bank and be more successful. Prior to COVID, nationwide, the SBA made $33.5 billion worth of loans. What a difference. Today, like I said earlier, the record shows over $750 billion. It is really an amazing amount of money that the government has invested in the small business communities. So in 2020, okay, I put the figures here so that you can see them. Let's move on to the next slide. Here are the three most talked about or most well-known loan programs of the SBA. The first one is the microloan program that goes up to $50,000. And then the rest of the programs, the limit is $5 million. We have the 7A loan program, which is a general purpose loan that can be used for working capital, real estate, machinery, and equipment. But the 504 program is specifically used for real estate, machinery, and equipment. And again, the limit of the loans is $5 million. There are about 10 loan programs in the SBA Access to Capital programs. And this is the 7A, SBA Advantage, SBA Express, SBA Microloans, cap lines for companies that are doing business with the government or have a seasonal business and they need seasonal lines of credit. Then there's the Community Advantage, the 504, and R&D opportunity funding and investment funding. And I'm going to let Paul talk about these two opportunities because he's an expert on in these areas.
Well, you know, Sylvia, I was looking at that list and my eyes would glaze over, I think, if I wasn't familiar with all of the loan products. Suffice it to say, there's a complete family of loan products to meet your needs as an individual or as a business that will help you start and grow your business, and at very competitive rates. And it's allowing you to pay back in a fashion that you're more able to do so. The last, which he's referring to, is innovation. And today we had a great presentation with regard to healthcare. Well, when you take a look at the target markets in our district of Orange County, Riverside, and San Bernardino, the medical, healthcare, biotech, health science is growing very rapidly, as is agriculture and many others, don't get me wrong, but that's a hot market. So kudos to our leadership, because we now have 2 small business development centers that are focused in the high-tech arena. We have one located in Riverside, and we have the UCI Applied Innovation SBDC, and they work with what we call high growth companies. And among those, you'll find them to be medical, biotech, and the like. It was interesting to hear, Sylvia, that there's actually been a migration from San Francisco and other areas to Southern California with these high-tech industries. And this will also include many other industries, but think of them as high growth industries. So SBA, this is very exciting. We have what we call the Small Business Innovation Research. I don't know if you have a slide on that, Sylvia. But
no, I don't think so.
Okay, Small Business Innovation Research and STTR programs are specifically designed to help companies grow rapidly. And those that may be on the event today, the SBIR's Innovation Grant 3 phases takes it from concept to commercialization. It's very, very exciting because we're seeing a lot of people getting the support they need and bringing very innovative products. I know when the doctor was talking about his hospital, did you notice he was talking about digital medicine? It's such a hot market, and telemedicine, but also the digitizing where people have access to it. And there's a lot of innovation in that area. In our office, our district plays a major role in that. And I don't want to forget Octane's Launchpad, which is another SBDC that we have that really is very active in the area of innovation. And I hope that is a great intro to get people excited. Sylvia, next.
Yes. And next, so a lot of times people want to know, okay, how can I qualify for an SBA loan? And is there anything different than the applying for a commercial loan? Well, it is very similar. For example, the banking system, they use the 5 C's of credit. You need relatively good credit. You need to have the capacity to invest in your own business. You need to have collateral, and the conditions of the business that you want to grow need to be, it needs to be a business that promises to be profitable. It needs to be a for-profit business in order to be eligible for SBA financing. The eligibility criteria, for example, needs to be a US citizen or a permanent resident to apply for an SBA loan. Remember that these are federally backed guaranteed loans. So yes, so in order for people to qualify. And there are other opportunities to apply for a loan if you feel confident that you have all the requirements. You can also go on Lender Match on our website and enter your profile and let them know how much money you need, and the lenders that participate in our program will reach out to you. The disaster assistance loan programs, for example, the EIDL and the PPP. Paul, you want to talk about that?
Well, these are, the economic injury, I can't think of many businesses have been really impacted by this. And the loan amount, the interest rate is 3.75 with a deferral for at least 6 months, I believe, or longer.
11 months
now. And please work in with me on this, Sylvia. And it's coming out very rapidly, and it's to help you through these trying times. And if,
Yes.
I think that sums it up. And I mean, it's about not only keeping your business going, but allowing you to maybe in the process, pivot your business to the new way forward, which we're now seeing coming into play, whether,
Yes.
to enhance your business. And it's
Yes.
so competitive. Yeah. Yes.
The economic injury disaster loan program it offers working capital at low interest rates, like Paul mentioned, and the first payment is due a year later. Like you will
It's
get a
12 months now,
statement.
yes.
You'll get a statement on the 11th month, and the first payment is due on the 12th month. And you have, according to your capacity to pay the loan, but you have up to 30 years to pay it back. And for those people that have been affected by the fires, the SBA also has, there has been a declaration of emergency in several areas in California, and people that are affected by the fires, they can also look onto the website and they see the designation that is not COVID to apply for disaster assistance. These are working capital loans to help through the disaster times. The PPP loan program, as you know, it closed, but if Congress has another stimulus package, there is a conversation that they are going to be funding the PPP loan program again, and specifically they're more designed to help small businesses in different communities. So I encourage you to keep your eyes on that. In the near future, keep your eyes on the news so that if you are interested in applying for a PPP loan program and you didn't have the opportunity to apply before because you didn't think you were going to need it, or because it closed before you had the opportunity to apply, keep your ears and eyes open so that you can go and apply for that. I have a slide here about predatory lending. It's maybe a little bit embarrassing to talk about it, but those companies are out there trying to promise you quick money in a hurry. And in many occasions it is available, and people have thought that this is one good way to have access to capital on a quick way. But if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true, because the interest rates on some of these loans can be pretty high. And instead of helping you grow your business, it would be damaging to your business. Do you know anything about this topic, Paul?
Well, predatory lending is just exactly what it means. And, there's a lot of that going on right now. And so my immediate thought was, ladies and gentlemen, is if you have any questions at all, please contact one of our district offices or SBDCs for clarification. That little bit of time you spend in advance could save you a lot of heartache later.
Yes. And now I'm going to move on to the next slide on exporting. As you heard, Paul is the expert on international trade, and he puts programs together across the Tri-County area the export trade assistance partnership programs to help companies export. You want to talk a little bit about that, Pearl?
Thank you, Sylvia. You know, this is a very, you know, what we do at SBA is very, very important in international trade development on many levels. But, you know, it takes a village, as they say in life. And the export outreach team is developing a streamlined approach of no wrong door for a company or an individual to get the service they need. Not everybody provides everything you need. And suffice it to say, we partner with a number of organizations and federal agencies seamlessly to ensure you get the proper service going forward. And as a ditto, my responsibility is to ensure that I facilitate an active working team of resources, including city, state, federal, that are proactively involved and can provide you solutions. What does all that mean? It gets you the answers you need in a timely fashion. More often than not, our office, our district office, works with new to export. You could be a multi-million-dollar company that sporadically exports and would be considered a new exporter. So we have developed a number of programs with our collaborative partners to deal with every aspect of international trade development. As it's evolved, you know, it was a normal international transaction, finding agents and distributors, pricing, shipping, finance, legal. But now we're involved in foreign trade zones and, if you will, joining and sourcing products, if you will, together to complete a finished product that might be 51% American that then could be sold to city, state, and federal agencies in America or re-exported. So we're involved in all phases of that. And I don't know, Sylvia, is it the moment you want me to mention a couple of programs I'm doing, or you want me to do it at the end?
No, I think this would be a good opportunity to mention about the ETAP programs and the topics that you cover on in the ETAP program, so that people can learn.
Okay. The Export Trade Assistance Partnership Program, short is ETAP, is a program that kind of parallels this export outreach team concept, but it is to address every important facet of what you need to consider as you begin and grow into international markets. And I'm so proud of the people that we have on these programs, because they're actually excellent. So keep your eyes for them. Now, they'll vary in length depending on what our goals are. But then I've developed a number of specific programs. We're so fortunate, we started doing it virtually. We called it the International Technology Forum, ITF. You'll see that. And it was the idea of doing these programs virtually. And as it turns out, it's very timely. And the first go around, it's on medical device and life science. And that being said, we talk about expediting the regulatory requirements so you can enter foreign markets faster. And we have a whole series of them. The next one coming up is on Taiwan. We've done with post-Brexit in Britain and with Canada as well. So please keep your eyes open for them. They're not long, they're about an hour and a half long. And we try to have the appropriate presenters to give you the information that you're really seeking to find out in entering a market. And then in the Inland Empire, we have a global access program, which has been a project of over 7 years. And the most recent one, it uses the university and other partners to help companies enter foreign markets. Like we're doing one right now in South Korea, the Philippines, and Singapore. And the university will provide free market research for companies that are interested in entering into the foreign markets over there, and for the companies over there that want to come here and team and partner with American companies here. And keep your eyes open. The next one is coming up in November. That series is a series of 4 global access programs. So on that note, I won't take any more time, but we do have 3 very good export loan programs available. We have another department or division within SBA called the Office of International Trade, and Martin Sealander and Pelson Lau. I don't know if you have their contact information on here, Sylvia. If not, they can contact you or me and we can give them to them.
Yes.
And they can assist you in securing an international loan guarantee, either for working capital or in support of an international transaction that they're not prepared or don't have the capital for.
So it's
There it
international
is.
trade.
You're ahead of me.
International
Well,
trade.
Sylvia, you could export working capital, export express. So an international trade loan goes for a period of time, help you build your business, a working capital program, and the export express is a shorter term loan. And we can get in greater detail, after the event if you would like. It'd be our pleasure to help you with those.
Yes. And then we're going to move on to talk a little bit about how the guarantee works. As you know, the government guarantees this loan program so that the banks are more encouraged to lend you money. And depending on the loan amount, the loan is guaranteed at 75%, 85%, or in the case of the international trade loans, up to 90% guaranteed. And the way it works is that, like it says here on the slide, in case of default, which normally it does not really happen very often, is the default rate is very minimum, actually around 3%. The SBA would step in and pay the guarantee to the lender. So the exposure of the lender is actually very minimum when it comes to the loan programs. But because of the technical assistance and the support that we have from the resource partners, the SBDCs, the Women Business Centers, and SCORE, is the reason that the failure rate of the loan program is so low. Okay, let's move on to a little bit about grants. We mentioned there are not really grants out there for small businesses or for-profit businesses in the normal times. But right now, because it's special circumstances, the government through the cities and the counties are providing grants to small businesses. And we mentioned earlier how you can access them. Okay, and now in terms of doing business with the government, for those of you that have a product or service to sell to the government that the government is possibly buying, I would encourage you to come to check our website and find out how to attend an information workshop on how to do business with the government. There is a lot of information, and I encourage you to attend an information workshop before you start completing applications in different places about doing business with the government, so that you can find out which agency and which organization, whether it is federal government, state, or local, or a utility company you can do business with, and with which ones you should complete applications for certification. When it comes to the federal government,
Sylvia?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a message that says my connection is unstable. If for some reason I get knocked off, I want to make you aware of that, okay?
Okay, thank
and
you.
then what I would like to say, what I'd like to say about this, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a business, you should be looking international, and you should be looking at all types of government opportunities for yourself, because in these changing times, you want to be able to pivot into areas or move into areas where you can benefit. And we've seen some companies become very successful in government contracting too, and very successful in international trade, both. When you would never have thought that.
What happened? We might have lost Paul here. Maybe he can get connected and join us again. And as we were mentioning, the US government, for example, buys over $500 billion worth of goods and services. And it does this, it has a program to spend 23% of those 500 million with small businesses. And it requires certification from the businesses in those categories to make sure that they are ready to do business with the government, just like in the international trade program, being ready to export. In order to do business with the government, they want to see that you are ready in terms of your company being established well financially, having the right inventory, having the quality control that you need in order to be able to compete. And the government helps agencies meet the goal. Each one of the agencies in the government, they are expected to spend up to 23% of their budget in small businesses in these categories: women, veterans, minority groups, and small businesses in general. And if you go to our website and look under government contracting, you can find a little bit more information about that, or you can also contact me. So I can, or Paul, anyone in our office, we can give you information about how to attend the seminar, or when you how to qualify, or how to get certified. And for example, like I was mentioning before, in the Women Business Contracting Program, agencies are expected to spend at least 5% of their budget in offering contracts to women, offering up to 3% of contracts to veterans. And in the category, let me go back to the category of women, is not just women business owners, but economically disadvantaged women business owners. In those two categories, up to 5%, and then 3% for veterans. Historically, underutilized business zones, they need to, companies, the government and prime contractors and subcontractors should award up to at least 3% to small businesses. And then many of you are probably familiar with the 8A program. This is a 9-year program in which companies that get certified can participate and be part of the program for 9 years. And one of the fantastic things about the government contracting programs is that the contracts are set aside for these groups, like you see here. Contracts are set aside for women business owners, for veterans, for minority groups, and small businesses that qualify and that meet the requirements of being economically and socially disadvantaged. I encourage you to read a little bit more about it.
Sylvia, I'm sorry, I got,
Yes,
you know,
you're back.
I'm back. We're in an intimate program here, right?
Yeah.
Did you mention about the city and state opportunities as well as the 8A program?
No, I didn't get to that one. I'll let you cover it.
Okay, you tell me when and I'll go over it. This is about,
Go ahead.
this is about business. The 8A program is a great federal program, as is the Hub Zone, and we've seen some incredible success stories. So it's certainly something you should look at. But along with that, there are your prime contractors, okay, that have requirements for small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses, women-owned, veterans, et cetera. And then we also have the cities and the state. And in our infrastructure with the SBDC network, we have the PTAC programs, which I think is, our SBDCs can help them become certified, you know, and help you through that process. And the very next step, they send you over to the PTAC and they work with you to identify contract opportunities that you can bid on and assist you in writing the response to the bids. So there's a whole infrastructure in place to help small businesses grow. So thank you.
Yes, and for example, in the Women's Business Contracting Program, the government has identified over 123 NICS codes in which women business owners industries are underrepresented. and special attention is being paid to those codes. And also, what the benefit of participating and knowing this information is that the contracts in these categories are set aside, which means that the competition for you is reduced, because now you are competing with only companies that are certified to participate in these programs, and the contracts are set aside for you to increase your opportunities to bid and secure contracts. It's a way of leveling the playing field for the small business owners. As you can see here, the contracts are set aside, and not only you can participate in the programs for the SBA, but any other programs with other agencies that are set aside for companies like yours if you meet the requirements.
Sylvia, I think I might have got a text from Violet. How are we on time?
We are very close. I encourage you close to ending. So I encourage you to go to our website and find out a little bit more about this. And you have our website, upcoming events. You must be familiar with this event, the Annual Economic Development Conference by the National Asian American Conference and National Diversity Coalition. We participate in events like this. Okay, and here is our telephone number and the website to our main office, which services Orange County, San Bernardino, and Riverside. But remember that the SBA is a federal agency that is represented across every single metropolitan area where there is a district office. I encourage you to get in touch with us. Paul, do you have anything to add?
Oh, you're very kind. I think I speak for both of us. It's a pleasure to be part of this program today. It's a pleasure to work with such a talented group of people. The virtual expo is going extremely well. We're all learning we're learning on the job on how to do it better, but we certainly can help you, and it's an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Paul and Sylvia. We are always grateful that SBA is backing the small business, and it was very informative. Again, for the viewers, all of our presentation will be available through our app. So if you haven't done already, please download the app and take the opportunity to view all of our great presentations throughout the whole year. Next, we have Katsu Bar and Poke Bar presentation, and they were one of our sponsors. And this is kind of exciting and interesting to me personally, because I'm a foodie and I love shopping for good restaurants. And I've heard of Poke Bar, and Katsu Bar is a little bit new to me, but I guess we'll find out all about it. Eugene is the founder and CEO of Katsu Bar and Poke Bar. Poke Bar established in 2015 and quickly grew to 72 locations throughout the US. Then Katsu Bar, a sister brand, was created in July 2020. Katsu Bar is located in Cerritos, California, in a busy retail corner. Many retail businesses, even the big companies, are faced with downsizing or restructuring during this difficult time. But how did Poke Bar and Katsu Bar thrive in this adverse environment? I'm really interested in finding out, because most of us are discouraged, and we might think about folding our business if our sales have gone down, and all of us are affected by the pandemic. But Mr. Ju will be sharing with us how the business grew successfully and launched a brand new business during COVID-19 pandemic. Please welcome Mr. Ju.
Hello, hi, hope you guys can hear me well. Before I start, are we gonna play the video for us? Can you guys hear me well? The response, of course, it's Zoom, right? Hi, it's a pleasure meeting you today. My name is Eugene, founder and CEO of Poke Bar. By now, many of you guys may be familiar with Poke, as it has gained significant popularity past 5 years. But to those who may not know what it is, let me start by giving a brief overview. Poke is a Hawaiian dish traditionally made with cubed up raw fish, served with seaweed, fish egg, green onions, soy sauce, and sesame oil. It can be both served as an appetizer or a main dish. Now, I'll get to the point right away since the times are very limited. So here's our story. Poke Bar first launched on April 3rd of 2015 in West Hollywood. It was a very small, tiny restaurant, size of about 650 square feet, with a seating capacity of 8. When we first opened, Poke was only at the beginning of huge rave. Our first month there, we did about $27,000 a month in sales. Since then, we have grown exponentially. During our first year, we opened 2 additional locations, one in Long Beach and one in Studio City. And from there on, we expanded. 2016, very next year, we opened 12 stores. 2017, we opened 25. 2018, we opened 30. 2019, we opened 10 additional stores. Currently, we have 72 stores worldwide, 5 locations in New Zealand, 5 locations in Canada. This year, we are opening in New Jersey and Louisiana, and also in talks with East Asian countries for master franchise rights. So you'll be probably seeing more of us globally. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my background. I graduated from college with a finance and marketing degree. I fulfilled my dreams of becoming a stockbroker in 1999. Since I was young, I always loved numbers and calculating things. But unfortunately, soon after I entered the market, a string of crises broke out. The dot-com bubble happened, and also a tragic attack on 9/11 crashed the stock market. This was not the outcome that I anticipated. I believe that all jobs need reward, and whether it is for financial, and I was receiving neither at the time. So I decided to leave the industry and begin to work at my mom's small Japanese restaurant, since they have owned from 1990. As I started to get more involved in the business, I realized many different aspects of a restaurant that I was not aware of. One of them was I realized the fact that there was a high turnover rate, as many employees were working for just minimum wage. If they were to leave today, they can find a job next day somewhere out there. Second, the power struggle between the main chef and the owner was very, very tricky. With only one main chef, if they were dissatisfied and left, it left a big hole to be filled and could be detrimental to the business. 3, just because you have a good one good particular month does not mean you will do the same for the next month. So you need a large extra sum of working capital. Excuse me. With all those thoughts in mind, I began to write my own business plan. Many times when people are thinking about their future businesses, they start by thinking of what they would like to have or need. But I went exactly opposite of that. I started by thinking of what I do not want or need and what I had to stay away from. There are 3 things I did not want to have and do not have in my business right now. 1 is no chef. I wanted a business where I did not need to depend on anyone, any one or two specific people to efficiently run any position. 2, no owner operation necessary. I personally think out of all, this is the most important aspect of the business that I personally think is that the driving force for this is so the owner of the business has enough freedom from the daily tasks to focus on building relationship with customers and increasing sales. I personally think the owner's job is that. Their position should be utilized to better the business rather to fill in for any employee. Number 3 was low startup costs and overhead. If you're a first-time business owner, my piece of advice is to not start too big. It's easy to have big dreams and high aspirations, but from someone who has been in those shoes, the risk is hardly worth it. More overhead equals more risk. If you're well experienced and have enough capital, then your risk factor decreases. But do take a note that physically bigger business does not necessarily mean bigger income. It's also important to remember that the foundational strength of your business must be just as important as your desire for expansion. If you do not have a strong foundation to support your growing business, it's like a building. The slightest shake will bring it crumbling down the business. Lastly, the people you choose to work and surround yourself with in business is an important factor. And I think that was key to my success. My business partner, Jason, has brought so much to Pokebar. We started together with only $80,000 in 2015. And through amazing teamwork together, we've gotten where we are now. I believe this teamwork is what will bring us even bigger success in the near future. And I hope every business person out there can find your own best partner. Now every business comes with pitfalls. Comes with its pitfalls. Regardless of how strong your foundation may be, our biggest challenge is a population of people who do not eat raw fish or fish at all. This is a challenge for us as we look to further globalize our business. Different countries have different dietary preferences, and navigating that can be very difficult. Down the road, we believe Poke will make it its way to all different corners of the world, but it will take some time. For now, we're focusing on opening more locations in marketable areas, as well as our new culinary venture. It is called Katsu Bar. Katsu Bar was created because Poke Bar can be somewhat a niche market, being a raw fish. So Katsu burgers and sandos were created to accommodate customers of all demographics, ages, genders, ethnicities to enjoy. The goal I have for Poke Bar and Katsu Bar is bring delicious and unique comfort food to the masses. And that's all I have for today. Well, thank you very much for your time today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the venue. But before I let you go, I'll play a short video of Katsu Bar. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I will hope to see you soon globally. Thank you very much.
Wow, who's hungry? Because I am. Thank you so much for that great, delicious presentation, Mr. Ju. And I think I agree with Mr. Ju that success in business is who you work with. Partnering and working with the right people will definitely be a strong foundation of business. Thank you for that great insight. And now we have the next guest speaker. His name is Robert Lamont of Rexel Energy Solutions, National Commercial Direct Install Leader. Robert will be presenting to us about adapting and repositioning business strategy during COVID-19. This is very important. We hear this word a lot. Adaptive reuse, adapting, repositioning. Rexel Energy Solutions is a wholesale electrical lighting distributor. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Rexel Energy Solutions used an adaptive strategy to provide COVID safety equipment such as UVC, air filters to help businesses reopen safely. Let's welcome Robert.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for having me today for this short segment. This is my first time attending the Asian Business Expo, and I'm very grateful for being here and being invited. As was mentioned in the introduction, my name is Robert Lamont, and I am the National Commercial Direct Install Leader for Rexel Energy Solutions. And before the pandemic, my focus was to help develop utility incentive programs that focused on saving energy throughout the country. However, now in this new market, we have had to adapt, and my role has had to change somewhat in order to address the new pandemic-specific needs of our customers. Our company, Rexel Energy Solutions, or RES, has traditionally been an electrical wholesaler focused on energy-efficient lighting and controls. However, as the pandemic took over the country, we saw a growing need for technology that addressed health and safety. So I wanted to take this 10-minute slot to discuss with you what we have seen in the market as far as new technology that is being deployed to assist with that economic recovery during the pandemic. As you all know, a lot of market research has been done regarding economic recovery for businesses following this crisis. McKinsey and Company, world-renowned survey company, has found that patrons consider more intense area cleaning as the most important aspect on deciding where they shop, eat, travel, and even work during these unprecedented times. Therefore, establishing a trust factor for staff and patrons will be the most crucial item when trying to get back to normality. There are many ways that we can clean and disinfect a space. You can manually disinfect areas with such things as chemical wipes, like we probably do at home. And another option is electrostatic spraying, which has been very popular. While both these options are very valid, there are several issues like chemical exposure, the need for PPE, but the largest impact for businesses are the labor costs that are associated with these processes. So when you manually clean a space or have somebody use an electrostatic sprayer, that means that somebody, an individual, has to be there actively doing the task. And that becomes very expensive over time. If your business uses a cleaning service, we have seen prices anywhere from 36 cents to $1, $1.50 per square foot in order to disinfect a space. And it's just not really sustainable given the current economic climate. So after doing a lot of market research internally and discussing options with both our customers and our manufacturing partners, we found that UVC light was the best option available. And that's due to its proven track record and versatility. Not only does it avoid using harmful chemicals, but it also saves countless of hours of labor when correctly used in your space. So as previously mentioned, UVC is proven technology. It was discovered in 1903 and actually was awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine in terms of germicidal properties. So there isn't a single pathogen on the planet that can survive exposure to UVC light. So that being viruses, bacteria, fungi, or mold. So after its discovery, UVC light was used in water treatment starting in the 1910s and hospitals in the 1950s. In today's world, with the COVID-19 pandemic shutting down the world economy and businesses everywhere, UVC light has made a transition from water treatment and hospital infection prevention into the mass market. So there are several ways that we can deploy UVC light into your facilities depending on the use case. The most common deployment is in your HVAC, air conditioning and heating system. A lighting system is simply installed into the HVAC duct and continuously cleans the air as it passes through the system. The second most common application is a rolling UVC unit, which is essentially a tower with lighting that you roll from space to space, and then you run it to disinfect all the surfaces. These are most commonly used in hospitals when turning over patient rooms. In this scenario, a cleaning crew will come in and traditionally clean the space, vacuum, remove trash, remove spills, and then roll the UVC unit into the room and let it run for about 7 minutes usually. And this will disinfect all the surfaces the light touches without the manual labor. It's just the touch time of rolling it in and hitting the button. Other options include light fixtures with embedded air filtration systems that disinfect the upper air in the room continuously. And then there's far UVC coming into the market, which is fantastic because it is lighting that not only will serve as your everyday light, but will also disinfect continuously. And it's the first form or wavelength of UVC that can be on while people are present in the room. So the market is really transforming to accommodate the current need. So we have managed to partner with several manufacturers and contractors. Smart Well Control actually invited us to this venue, so we're very thankful to them, but they've been a great partner for us to deliver this technology throughout the country. HVAC solutions and rolling units have been the most popular. And while our largest market segments so far have been schools and hotels and hospitals, we have seen a very large uptick in retail settings and restaurants as well. With it becoming more of a mass market play, prices have dropped considerably for all these units and therefore more accessible to the everyday segments. So another very important aspect of this technology is the software. Several of our partners have developed software along with their hardware, which means that it can track when your area was disinfected and for how long the unit was run, and give you a historical picture of what we've done in the space. This will upload into a cloud that you can access, and it is then made available to all your staff and patrons if you wish, and it brings the historical invisible process of cleaning into the light. So typically, I mean, people can say, yes, we disinfected a space, but how do you really know that every corner was touched? Using the software, you can actually make that known. And this will promote transparency and further builds trust amongst the community so that people can reemerge and return to normal habits. So when we're doing all this and with all this new technology, UVC is not very well regulated. And so it's very important for everybody to work with professionals who truly understand the technology, as every business has truly specific needs. So things like operating hours, building layout, and public access all need to be considered before selecting the best path forward. There is no real technology that's a silver bullet, that's the best. It's really more about risk mitigation. So while the pandemic has brought a lot of positives and has given us a lot to think about and forced us to make adjustments to the way we all do business, we do see a bit of positive that might come from all these measures. And what I mean by that is that implementing new technology like UVC lighting and new protocols, it'll help reduce the spread of all diseases moving forward. Somehow, as a society, we have all accepted that 30 to 40 million flu cases per year in the United States is okay, and that it's normal for us to go through that. Along with a few million cases of norovirus and thousands of cases of E. coli and so forth and so on. However, all of these new deployments could put us in a position to reduce that greatly moving forward. I like to point to an example, which is South Africa. they have an opposite season to us. So they exited their flu season a couple months ago as we're entering our flu season now. And in Cape Town, the largest city of South Africa, they saw one case of the flu in their entire flu season. So they had one single case of the flu in their entire season. And I'm not saying that we're going to see a 1,000% decrease into the caseload like they did, but hopefully we do see some decrease for years to come, and that can be a small piece of silver lining to implementing technology throughout the pandemic and beyond, because as a society, we need to think of not only COVID-19, but any other pandemics that might come down the path, and address our existing health issues like the flu and coronavirus and coronavirus and norovirus and so forth and so on. So that's what I have for everybody today. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. I did leave a couple minutes, but if not, we will sign off there. Thank you guys so much.
If you have any questions for Robert, feel free to send in Q&A, and we'll collect those information and email to Robert. And we really appreciate you for being here today with us and collaborating with us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Take care. Next, we have Tina Kim and Helen Kim from DNH Distributing Inc. They'll be discussing to us about navigating technology and services in the new normal. Personally, I don't like that term new normal because I liked our old normal. But I guess I have to accept that all things in life change. Tina and Helen Kim will teach us how to adjust. Please welcome Tina Kim, Senior Regional Account Manager, and Helen Kim, Regional Account Manager of DNH Distributing Inc. We would love to engage with you throughout the Q&A via Zoom during their presentation. So feel free to type your questions through Q&A. They want to engage with you towards the end. And when they're done with their presentation, they will pick the questions in order and answer them and engage with you to clarify all of the questions you may have for them. Thank you. And here's Tina and Helen.
I want to thank KACC-TV for the invite, and it's a pleasure to be one of your speakers today. The topic for today is navigating technology and service in the new normal. Unfortunately, I know everybody wants to go to the old normal, but it is what it is. We have seen the world go through unprecedented times, especially in the US within the last 8 months, with no clear end in sight. I will be speaking to what it has meant to the IT industry and what we have done to help during these times. My name is Tina Kim with DNH Distributing, and I am the Senior Regional Account Manager for the West Coast. And joining us is Helen Kim with DNH, who is the Territory Account Manager for the West. I'm sure you're all wondering if we are sisters, and yes, we are two Korean American sisters running the West for DNH Distributing, a $4.6 billion company. Helen and I were born and raised in LA and have lived most of our lives in Orange County and the later part of our lives in Los Angeles. I have been with DNH for 14 years and Helen 3 years. A little background on DNH Distributing. DNH has been in business for over 102 years, and it is a privately held $4.6 billion ESOP employee-owned company. We share 35% of the profits with all the employees. Headquartered in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and distribution centers are located in California, Illinois, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. DNH is a wholesale distributor supplying IT and electronics to integrators, resellers, and retailers across North America and Canada. We serve small to medium-sized businesses across the country. DNH sources top tech brands such as Samsung, LG, HP, Lenovo, Intel, Microsoft, just to name a few. We bring these technologies to the tech channel to make sure that organizations are equipped with everything needed for applications from back office to front office and remote work. As organizations needed to pivot to remote and virtual work and distance learning, D&H was key in the supply chain to ensure that tech providers had the products and services needed to integrate and upgrade technology and data security and virtual application needs that were critical to keep organizations running, especially healthcare institutions, federal, and schools. In particular, where we had to pivot and react quickly is the educational resellers. With most schools still closed through at least the end of the year, we had to help our resellers get ready for distance learning and health and safety concerns. We are seeing this with schools such as LAUSD and Clark County, which are some of the biggest school districts on the West. Two of the biggest challenges we helped our customers with was flexible credit terms, logistics to warehouse products for our customers so we can provide just-in-time inventory. We had to work through constraint issues with Intel and AMD processors to supply Chromebooks to all schools across America. We saw about an increase of 25% versus last year of Chromebooks needed, and there's still not enough to supply the channel. We are seeing orders being placed today with deliveries well into mid-2021. We had to increase our service integration facilities to accommodate all the white glove, asset tagging, and etching, especially Google licensing being deployed, where we doubled our capacity. We also saw an increase in products such as webcams, monitors, cases and sleeves for Chromebooks, and hotspots, all of which have been constrained as many of these products have been manufactured overseas. The new area where we saw an increase is esports. We invested a lot of resources here and became the only distributor to have an esports certification and work with an esports league. PPE, personal protection equipment, is an area that we will see growth in schools as they reopen, and health and safety will be their #1 priority. With products like thermal temperature kiosks that schools will be installing as students get back to school. In closing, I have to say, I'm very proud of the work we have done these last 8 months to help so many students across the US and companies who have employees working from home. These have been very challenging times to say the least, but working for an IT distributor who has allowed us the autonomy to take care of our customers and help so many during the pandemic makes me proud to work for D&H. Now I would like to introduce Helen Kim, who will talk about the great things she is doing in her territory to provide some insight into another segment of our business, work from home initiatives.
Thank you for the introduction, Tina. I'm excited to be here presenting to you all and in this platform. As Tina said, in this growing environment and adjusting from working in the office to work from home initiatives, these verticals that I'm helping had to quickly pivot their strategy to provide smooth transitions for their workforce. Since my territory is slightly different than Tina's, which is more focused on K-12 in the educational space, I'm helping my resellers settle into the federal, government, and commercial space. Some of the end users that I'm helping are UC and Cal State colleges, BAE Systems, which is federal account, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, JPL, NBC Universal, and Comcast Cable Communications, to name a few. These organizations had to work very closely with some of our tier 1 vendors such as HP, Lenovo, Dell, to provide quick solutions for them to be operational as the environment became more volatile. I helped to provide escalated ship dates, solutions and services, and tailored shipping programs that allowed more flexibility in shipping to thousands of homes, locations to make certain deadlines viable for this initiative. Since a majority of these federal government facilities have year-end dollars to allocate before their year-end deadline, it was imperative that we work with various vendors to escalate estimated ship dates and for them to work directly with manufacturing supply chain to move up their target date. Even with escalation issues, it still left many divisions without equipment and not fully functional, which caused disruptions in work performance and major deadline delays. Although supply and demand had gotten somewhat better in my segment, there are still very big gaps in the certain areas that Tina touched upon in her K-12 Chrome space. I wanted to highlight one of my resellers that I work very closely with, notebookshop.com Westco. They are located in Cerritos, California, and the owner is Jim Koo, who is also one of the co-chairmen of the Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. He has been instrumental in providing hardware solutions to the community desperately in need. He has been in business for over 25 years and is a pillar to our society. Resellers like him has made a huge difference during this pandemic and will continue to help where needed. In closing, I'd like to thank the Korean American Chamber of Commerce of Orange County for inviting Tina and I to this expo. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us in this session, and we hope that we provided some insight into navigating technology and services in the new normal. We look forward to the Q&A session, and now we can open up for questions. Thank you.
Tina and Helen, and I'm envious that you sisters can work together. I have 2 younger sisters myself, but I'm not sure if we can work together. It's great and wonderful seeing you guys work together, because I'm sure, work and family is different. So
Yeah, well, just to give a little background there. So Tina and I, we worked together, gosh, I think like more than 20 years ago in the computer field. And, she continued to go down that path. And I actually opened up my own business, a financial business, for a good 12 years. And then had restaurants for a restaurant for 7 years, and then got back into tech industry. So yeah, just a little background on our history there.
yeah, that's wonderful. And I guess, potentially maybe my sisters and I can walk that path later, because, family working together is the best thing if you can be successful together. So that's great. Do we have any questions in the queue? Tina, Helen, have you seen any questions that came up?
Oh, I see. No, I don't.
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay, so we maybe have some quiet audience this afternoon, but I'm sure there will be plenty of questions that will come. A lot of us will be re-rolling this film and going back later when they have, it is work hours. So when we do get some questions in the queue, we'll
Sure.
definitely make sure that we'll forward it to you. It was pleasant and it was our pleasure having you on our panel. Thank you so much for your presentation. And we look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you guys again.
Thank you for having us. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Be safe. Okay, next we will have Jay Choi, who will tell us all about COVID-19 test kits. That's very interesting, because I think all of us are very interested about finding out the accuracy of COVID-19 tests, the test kits. So Jay Choi is Overseas Business Assistant Manager of Solgen Co. Ltd., based in South Korea. And we will have Mr. Choi present information on COVID-19 kits. Mr. Choi.
Hello, everyone. Nice meeting you. As she mentioned, I'm a business assistant manager at Solgen Company from South Korea, and we are very honored to be invited and to present our company at this event. And we really appreciate everyone's interest in our company. And now let me share our presentation and introduce our company, Solgen. So for this trade show, I'm going to talk about 4 things about our company: an overview of our company and our business, and our COVID-19 test kits, and manufacturing system using smart factory construction, and our future plan going forward. So Solgen, with one mission in mind, Solgen was founded in 2000 by 2 passionate young researchers and businessmen, our co-CEO Jae-hyung Yoo and Myung-hee Lee, to become a total solution diagnostic company based on the PCR technology. So we have technology for PCR as a whole, including qPCR, real-time PCR, fast PCR, and direct PCR. And we use everything to both to produce products and offer the services to our clients. And because we own the whole technology on PCR, we can offer user-friendly products and highly accurate research results for our clients. Our headquarters is located in Daejeon in South Korea, and we also have a branch an office in Seoul. We started our business focusing on producing raw materials, DNA polymerase, and genetic analysis service, and we expanded to molecular diagnostic kits. In recent years, we have concentrated on precision medical and CDS. In summary, we can manufacture raw materials and finished products, and based on our research, we can offer different services to our clients. With over 20 years of knowledge and experiences, we are very proud to say that we've become a total solution company in the field of fundamental science, clinical medicine, molecular diagnosis, and genome analysis. So these are the main businesses we handle. They're all based on the core technology PCR. We manufacture reagents related to PCR. We also make human diagnosis kits such as COVID-19 test kits. We also provide a service solution to different companies in genome sequencing area. We measure the originality of certain meats and agricultural goods based on our technology, and our research ability is as strong as our analytical capability. So that we offer customized research for different clients. In addition to these services, we are also developing diagnostic tools to measure a level of NADPH so that we can tell if a person has a high or low risk of getting a disease such as cancer and diabetes. And based on the needs of our clients, we also do DNA testing for cholesterol level and skin aging process. By doing all of these, we're confident that we're a complete package company in the field of PCR diagnostics. So far, we've produced more than 40 different molecular diagnostic kits. And in order to fight against the different disease and infection around the world, we have obtained fundamental approvals and certification for product distribution around the globe, such as CE marking and MFDS, that's a Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, and research use only for our products. As I mentioned, we have 40 different products, and so far, 33 kits have gotten CE marking, which is necessary for European Union distribution, and other 7 are with MFDS approvals. So let's talk about our COVID test kits. As you must heard about us in the midst of this pandemic, we produce COVID-19 PCR test kits in order to fight against the COVID-19 by providing as many as tests possible to different organizations and partners in order to help them to do the extensive number of testing per day. A little bit behind story of our COVID-19 test kits. We all know in winter of 2019, there was a report in Wuhan, China. There was unknown virus, and it turned out to be a new coronavirus. And a Chinese company we work with and supplied our products recommended us to develop a new COVID-19 test kits using our technology. Due to our limitation on manpower and financial pressure of being a small, medium-sized company, we were a bit hesitant to manufacture new products for this new virus. However, we knew that it could be our new line of business, and utmost we wanted to have a positive influence to do the good things to the world. So we decided to take this chance and make a quality product as always, and also in a very short period of time. Within a month, we finished the products and got emergency use authorization on different continents, such as South Korea, European Union, and North America, including United States. In fact, we're one of the first 3 companies in South Korea who got the green light on supplying the test kits to the national and state hospital and organizations. So this is our Solgent, this is our PCR test kit. As you can see here are the specs of test kits. And so what it does is it detects ORF1A and engines from nasopharyngeal swab and oropharyngeal swab and sputum. That's using our hot start PCR technology. So far, we've developed and produced this COVID-19 test kits and supplied to more than 55 countries. These are the certificates and Korean FDA, EUA, US EUA, FDA approval we obtained for our COVID-19 test kits. As you can see, we have FDA EUA approval from Canada and US due to the urgent needs from both countries for COVID-19 test kits. And we also obtained CE marking for the EU market, Europe market. As I mentioned before, we have exported our products to over 55 countries around the globe. These pictures is a evidence that we've taken when we shipped our products to overseas. As you can see, we had supplied our products to the US government, FEMA, and different countries. Currently, there is no complaint from the from international buyers who purchase our products, and it means a lot to us because it shows our quality of the product, and hopefully to some of the listeners it means something, because right now we are also keep looking for the international partners as well. And another thing we really wanted to mention is that our smart factory system. This is something that will enable us not only to manufacture, but also to operate efficiently. This is how our smart factory system works. We allocate the raw materials, different layout from the past, and localization of tubes for our products, automation of things. Barcode system will be implemented so that everyone knows which things belong to where. Also, everyone can monitor and see what is going on in the factory, since it will be all app-based operation system. Everyone can manage and operate in more smart and efficient way. Due to the change in our factory facility, we increased our production capacity. So as a result, our productivity is improved by almost 73%. Currently, the productivity in terms of the number of products we produce is 4 million tests per week, and target productivity is up to 25 million tests per week on this new smart factory system. We have successfully built a factory because Ministry of South Korean Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, SMEs and startups in South Korea recognize us as one of the most prospective company in South Korea. We not only get the funding and recognition from South Korea, but also Korean government, but also got a great partnership with Samsung Electronics for our smart factory project. And we are not only focusing on exporting our finalized test kits, but in the long run, we seek to make branches, build an entity, or even have an international partner. And we call it a product localization project. In doing so, we came up with an idea of OEM and ODM. First, this is our draft and rough plans for near future. As you can see, our strategy is supplying our raw materials to a global market, not the finished products, not our branded products, but the raw materials and subsidiary materials. We can do this because we have capability of manufacturing, and now our capability is better since we did innovation on our manufacturing sites, as I mentioned before. And we have plans from A to C, and I'll explain really short. Plan A is we work with manufacturing company with GMP facility that's interested in import Solgen's raw material, so that so that they can produce their own branded diagnostic kits. So it could be a very simple exportation of our raw materials in a vial type to a potential partner, and they just could rebox them in their brand name. This will work only if a potential partner has worked in a diagnostics production industry and currently has a GMP facility. And plan B is we work with a company that already has a business relationship with a manufacturing company with GMP facility. We supply materials in bulk, and a partner company could organize pieces into a package and put their brand name. And plan C is a little bit of slow process. If there is a company without any experience and also without GMP facility, but still interested in working with us, then we can start from the bottom, and it will take time because a potential partner should build a GMP facility. And there are prerequisites and expectation on what a potential partner and Solgen will share. Solgen provides its guidance on setting up plans, shares a product technology, supplies necessary raw materials based on the agreement. And potential partner will have all the required certification or will obtain those in the future. And they have to have a factory site, equipment such as PCR machines and automation systems. These are the simple images of the plans that I just explained, how a potential partner and we could work together in the future. Plan A, step 1 is a repackaging method, most simple and easiest way for both sides. Step 2 is redispensing. So we send the bulk and the partner, they make it a vial type and repackage. And plan C is they need to remix every single raw materials and supply it to the market. And these are the example photos of automated equipment and we look for in potential manufacturing facilities. And these are the equipment we have in Korean facilities as of right now, and everything was custom made. So equipment don't have to be the same design, but we just want to show every audience the qualities that we look for in a potential partner. And thank you for your time today, for listening our company's story and plans in the near future. And if you're interested in doing business with us, either distributing our COVID-19 test kits or working as a potential partner in the US or any other countries, please feel free to email us at global@solgen.com. And we look forward to hearing from you guys. And again, thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Choi, for that great presentation. Now we will have, last but not least, guest speaker. And he will be talking about Kickstarter, platforms, and crowdfunding. His name is Isaac Kim. He's a project manager of Alto Business Group. Let's welcome Isaac to the platform.
Alrighty. Hi, everybody. My name is Isaac Min. I am the manager of crowdfunding projects here at Altos Business Group. We are a product launch consulting agency. And so we primarily work with entrepreneurs who are looking to launch their business or product in the US market. And we do work primarily with startups and entrepreneurs, but we do work with mid-sized companies as well. And we help with global companies enter the US market through platforms like Kickstarter and other crowdfunding platforms. And so today I will be speaking to all of our participants about crowdfunding because it is a relatively new sector that has popped up within the past few years, and a lot of people may not be familiar with it and the power that it provides for people who are looking to launch their products and businesses. So I will go straight into my presentation. Alrighty. So this is Crowdfunding 101, prepared to you by Altos Business Group. Again, I am Isaac Min. I am the manager of the crowdfunding department and projects here at Altos Business Group. And so before we even start, this is the outline for today's presentation. What is crowdfunding? What do I need to do or prepare for a crowdfunding campaign? What kind of products tend to find success on crowdfunding platforms? Leveraging crowdfunding during COVID-19? And a list of Altos services for some of those that might be interested in working with us on a crowdfunding campaign. So the first thing that we're coming up with, what is crowdfunding? And so crowdfunding is a way to raise capital directly from a large number of individuals to finance a new business venture. And so rather than going traditionally through a business, you're raising funds online through a platform that provides this kind of service. And so there are two types of crowdfunding that I wanted to discuss briefly, but we will be focusing on the reward-based. And so first off with the reward-based, it's you receive investments and provide a physical reward in return. And so within the platform, what we like to call backers, will look at your page for a listed product, see the information and what kind of value you provide through your product, and in a way purchase or fund your campaign. And in return, they receive your product earlier before it goes to the market or within your e-commerce website or even platforms such as Amazon. And so this type of system is typically meant for entrepreneurs with physical products, So that can include a gadget, a game, it could even be a music event. You could even crowdfund for your restaurant. For example, if you are struggling during the COVID-19 pandemic and would like to raise funds to keep your business afloat, reward-based crowdfunding would be a great way for you to leverage. And the largest reward-based crowdfunding platforms in the world right now are both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, with the majority of backers going to Kickstarter. Some campaigns do well on Indiegogo and even excel on that as well. And the second type of crowdfunding that I wanted to explain today was equity-based. And so this is when you receive investments and give a portion of your equity in return. And so it can be similar to traditional types of funding where you receive a certain amount of money and you give equity in return. But this is not limited to seed investors or traditional investment companies, but this is for the mass public. And so this is typically meant for entrepreneurs with non-physical products, such as a software, a mobile app, a subscription service, so on and so forth. And the largest equity-based crowdfunding platforms available on the internet right now are WeFunder, StartEngine, and Republic. And so going into the basics of reward-based crowdfunding, these are some terms that are crucial in order for you to understand the rest of the presentation. And so a campaign is a project that is created to raise a certain amount of money in a limited time frame. And so we'll refer to that depending on the platform that you're using. If it's Kickstarter, it'll be a Kickstarter campaign. If you're going on Indiegogo, it'll be an Indiegogo campaign. And since it does seem like we have some Korean participants, I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard of Wadis. Wadis is a Korean crowdfunding platform that is very popular in Korea right now, and a lot of entrepreneurs have been using that to launch their products or their business. And so moving on, a backer is an individual who pledges money to join entrepreneurs in bringing projects to life. So again, because this is reward-based crowdfunding, it would be for a physical product. A creator is the person or team behind the project idea. So that can be an individual, a team, unofficial team, but it could also be a business, startup business, so on and so forth. And rewards are how creators repay their backers for funding his or her campaign. And so you have the product listed to the side, and I will show you a sample of a campaign page later on. And the rewards are basically products that people will purchase, but we like to say back, and that's how they fund your campaign in order to start your business. And lastly, payments for crowdfunding campaigns are typically done after a campaign ends. And so a backer will typically go to your campaign page, see what kind of reward options you have, select one, and reserve their spot. And once the campaign is finished and over, that's when their credit card will be charged so that they can receive the reward later on. So who backs crowdfunding campaigns? And so this is the key demographics that apply globally. So whether that's Kickstarter or Indiegogo, backers are typically male ranging from 25 to 45 years old with enough disposable income to invest in crowdfunding campaigns. And so they're not necessarily guaranteed to be fulfilled. And so these type of people are very specific, and we like to call them early adopters because these are people who are interested in new technologies, new inventions, and are willing to spend money to receive a product that may not be perfect, but is interesting enough to provide them value. And over 65% of backers on platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo originate from the US. And the remaining 35% of backers originate from countries such as the UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Japan. And so what does a crowdfunding page look like? So this is crucial for you to understand how the overall flow goes. And so you'll see, it'll start off with the main thumbnail image. You'll also have a high quality production video to explain what your product is. You'll have high quality product and concept images as well. So although this is still in the early stages of your business or your product, you have to have these type of digital assets in order to convince people to purchase or reward or back your product. And so copy is in reference to copywriting. And so the text on your campaign is also crucial as well. You'll notice that some of the campaigns that you might visit on Kickstarter or Indiegogo uses enticing copy in order to draw in backers. And of course, lastly, enticing reward options. If your product is too expensive or if it feels like they don't provide value, then it's most likely that backers will look at your crowdfunding campaign and decide not to invest or back your campaign or your project. So let's take a look at a sample campaign page. And so this is on the platform Kickstarter. And so you can see that right off the bat, this is called Lark Pitcher with the copy Pure Water Beyond Filtration. And so this is a water filtration system that takes any type of water, whether it's tap or bottled, filters it through their two-step process that they explain within their crowdfunding campaign page. And you can see they're created by Justin Wang. This particular campaign had 6,364 backers who pledged $771,917 to bring this to life. And so this is a huge anomaly within crowdfunding campaigns. I would say usually around less than 1% of all crowdfunding campaigns launched on Kickstarter, and I would say this applies to Indiegogo as well, reach the $100,000 threshold. And this is typically for campaigns that invest almost everything they have into making this a reality. And so scrolling down, just a brief information on the funding progress. You'll have a fixed timeline for your crowdfunding campaign. Traditionally, we would like to go with 30 days. And the reason for that is it gives a sense of urgency for the people who visit your page. And so it entices them to back your campaign early on to take advantage of the early rewards that you have on your page. And this is the main video that we have, but because of time restrictions, we won't play that for you. But if you're interested, I do recommend that you go to this product page or any of the other Kickstarter campaign pages and take a look at some of the videos with high funded projects. So you'll see that this is located in San Francisco, California. Please note that a lot of campaigns do originate from other countries. For Kickstarter, the platform does allow creators to launch worldwide, except for certain countries that do not have the Stripe payment option available. And one of that is being South Korea. But here at Altos, we do help overcome that boundary if you are looking to launch a crowdfunding campaign from Korea. And so you'll see that they have high quality images. This has been mentioned in major news outlets as well, primarily because they had a pre-launch marketing phase that was done very well. So as you can see, this is on the platform Kickstarter. You have the main thumbnail image here. You can see the creator's name, how many backers they've had, and how much funding they received. You'll see the funding graph here, but this is a separate add-on that you can install later called Bigger Cake. And if you scroll down, you'll see that they have a main video, but for, again, time purposes, I won't be able to share that with you. And you'll see, again, how much funding they've received, how many backers they've had. And again, going through real quick, you'll see that they have a lot of high quality images, copy that really draws in the attention of the backers, and information that has high value for the people who are interested in backing this campaign. So although it looks a bit simplistic, the amount of time and effort that goes into making one of these pages is very enormous. And so you have to take a look at every step of the campaign and see if it'll draw the attention and help with that transition for the backer as they're scrolling down the page. And the most important part for the creator is on the right-hand side, as you guys can see here. So this is where the rewards are listed. You'll see that for this particular one, the Lark picture, early bird, which means it's limited and exclusive only to a certain amount of people. If they pledge $88 or more, they'll receive a Lark picture. And so essentially backers are investing $88 into your company with no guarantee of receiving the reward. But within the Kickstarter platform, they do expect you to deliver and fulfill upon that promise. And you'll see that for this particular reward tier, you have one Lark picture, an essential filter, so on and so forth. You'll have an estimated delivery. And so the reason they say estimated delivery is because they understand that because entrepreneurs and startups do not have much experience in fulfilling rewards or products, that this could be delayed. And you can also specify which countries the rewards are shipped to. So again, you can see it's limited. So only 451 backers were able to purchase the Lark picture early bird. And so you can take a look at this campaign page and some of the other ones, but I'll move on to the next section of the presentation. So switching back. So what do I need to prepare for a crowdfunding campaign? And so as we saw the Lark picture campaign, I'm pretty sure you noticed that there are some things that need to go into the crowdfunding campaign in order to make it look beautiful, but also be impactful so that you can raise the maximum amount of funds that you can. So the first thing, and I really want to stress this, is that you have to, as a creator, have 100% commitment to making your crowdfunding campaign a success. Here at Altos Business Group, we do pre-screen our candidates and make sure that they are 100% invested into the crowdfunding campaign. Because if you do work with us or on your own, it typically takes around 5 to 6 months to prepare, launch, and wrap up a campaign. And so it'll take a lot of your time. And so going forth, you also have to have a working prototype for your product that has not been sold anywhere else. And this is also crucial because crowdfunding platforms stress innovation. If you have a product that's already sold on a different market or platform, you cannot raise funds for this. So, and then moving on, you have to have enough capital to pay for any expenses that go into a crowdfunding campaign. So for example, if you do hire someone to make your video and image assets, then you'll have to hire someone to do that. And you'll also have to have a budget that is set aside for marketing and ad spend. And so this will help your campaign take off. And because you only have a limited amount of time within that set time frame, which is again, usually around 30 days, some do stretch it to 45 or 60 days. And after that, you want to do as much research as you can before you launch. Does your product fit with what crowdfunding backers are looking for? When I mentioned earlier on in the presentation, these people are typically male, 25 to 45 years old in age, and they're early adopters. And so to put it in more candid terms, they're geeks, they're nerds. They're looking for something that's really interesting and new. And so that's typically within the technology category as well. And two, you want to look at some of the other products and campaigns that are similar to yours. What successes or failures did they have? And again, what is the best price point for your type of product? Some entrepreneurs don't do enough research, especially in this portion, because they'll overvalue their product and price it way too high or price it way too low. And that reduces consumer or backer confidence and results in lowering the threshold of your potential for fundraising on platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And then lastly, how much does it cost to ship your product worldwide? And so many entrepreneurs, when they first create a product, they're only invested into the product itself, but they have little to no experience in actually going into the logistics. And so it's always important to either work with an agency such as ours or a separate logistics company and see how much it costs to ship your product for each company that you plan to ship to. And lastly, a community to back your campaign as soon as it launches. And so when you saw in the LARC campaign, you saw the funding graph. Initially, the first bar was extremely high. The reason for that is because they did an extensive pre-launch marketing campaign. And again, that stresses back to having a budget for marketing and ad spend. And so in order to do that properly, you have to have the funds and a correct strategy and build up a community so that they back your campaign starting day one, and so that you can ride that momentum until the end of the campaign. Okay, so what kind of products tend to find the most success on crowdfunding platforms? And so this is a screenshot that I pulled straight from Kickstarter. As you can see within the top column, within all the categories, they have had up until 502,000 campaigns that have launched, but not all of them have been successful. As you can see within the last, right here, success rate, 38.13% success rate. And so what that means is either the product or the amount of effort put into the campaign was not enough or was not a good fit for this crowdfunding platform. And out of all the categories, I only pulled the top 3 because I felt that especially the third one might be relevant. Games usually refers to tabletop games, board games, video games, computer games. Design categories are products that solely focus on the design and aesthetics of the product. And lastly, technology category usually surrounds hardware and any tech that can be used in a physical product. And you can see the amount of funds raised within these campaigns reaches the hundreds of millions of dollars, which shows the potential that these platforms and the power that it can provide for entrepreneurs, creators, so on and so forth. So what are the traits of successful products as well? And so because, as I mentioned, crowdfunding platforms stress so much on innovation, you have to have a brand new idea with proof of concept. When crowdfunding was first introduced back in the early 2000s, you were able to launch a campaign just on a concept itself. And so you could try and convince the backers that you have this great idea for this product, but you don't have a physical prototype yet. Now that has changed because there are so many avenues and so many loopholes where people have used the crowdfunding platforms and not fulfilled upon their promise to deliver a quality product or any product at all. Now the trend has shifted so that you have to have a product with proof of concept. And so you also have to show that your product is drastically better than any of its competitors. And so that doesn't mean you have to have the latest technology, the latest hardware, so on and so forth, but you have to have some sort of innovation that shows that your product is at least slightly better than your competitors. And third, a product that solves a major problem and provides real value for backers. And so these are the type of products that you'll find as you're living your daily life and you notice that there's a small problem or issue within your daily life that could be optimized or fixed in general. Products that fill in this gap tend to do very well on crowdfunding platforms. And fourth, a product with a thoughtful design. Aesthetics are important when it comes to campaigns and products that you're trying to fundraise for. In the end, I'm pretty sure a lot of the participants or people who may be watching later on, when you think about how you shop or decide to purchase a specific product, you'll notice that aesthetics comes into a big play into your decision. And so if you don't focus on that portion of your product enough, no matter how much value it can provide, if it doesn't fit within their aesthetic vision, it won't do as well as it could. Some campaigns and some products do well without a exceptional design, but it does minimize your potential on these platforms. And lastly, a combination of all the four mentioned above can result in a 7-figure campaign. So there are entrepreneurs who have launched products with 3 to 1-person team, and you'll raise millions of dollars. And that's because it combines all 4 aspects within the traits of successful products. And so this is probably very crucial, leveraging crowdfunding during COVID-19. And so this can apply not only to major businesses, but it also applies to individual entrepreneurs and small businesses as well. And so I'll be explaining that. So crowdfunding, so during COVID-19, just to explain the trends a little bit, the number of live crowdfunding campaigns has decreased. So the total number, but the success rates have increased. And so we have found that creators on platforms such as Kickstarter and Indiegogo have been focusing more and more time into their campaigns. And we find that that is most likely because of the time that they have gained, unfortunately, as a result of layoffs. And so these people who had maybe working full-time jobs have had an idea or a prototype that they've always wanted to launch and start their own business. But now that they have the time to do so and possibly the money to do so as well, they have found success on these platforms, which has increased the success rate. And so 2, small businesses have been able to raise crucial funds to stay afloat during the pandemic. And so restaurants, bars, family shops, you can leverage your local community to go to these crowdfunding pages that you have made to keep your businesses afloat. There are some restaurants, bars, a lot of companies in the food industry that are more mom and pop shops that have been able to stay afloat and continue to run their business, or at least keep it on pause until the pandemic is over, because of the support they gain from their backer communities. So you can always market this to your friends, family, loved ones. But surprisingly enough, a lot of the backers have this philanthropic, I guess, portion to their personalities. And so they find it extremely rewarding, where they will find local businesses in different regions of the world. So you could be a backer from California, find that a restaurant in New York City is crowdfunding, and they'll back that campaign regardless of whether they're able to receive the rewards or not. And so depending on the narrative that you present within these crowdfunding campaign pages, this can be a very powerful tool for small businesses as well. And here at Altos, we do also work with medium-sized companies and large-sized companies. Because of the pandemic, they have been looking to launch their products or a new product line in a way that circumvents the obstacles that are presented to them because of the pandemic. And crowdfunding has been a great way for them to do that as well. And so this doesn't apply specifically to the pandemic, but one of the most recent, I would say, viral campaigns that a medium-sized company has launched is Gillette, the razor shaving company, launched their heated razor. So it was a razor with a heated bar on the top of the head. And they launched that through Indiegogo and received a massive pre-order. And because they were able to utilize that and leverage it as a marketing tool, the sales for that alone skyrocketed even after they launched officially on their website. And so lastly, just want to wrap up with what kind of services does Altos provide. And so for us here at our headquarters based in Costa Mesa, California, we help with the creation and managing of crowdfunding campaigns from start to finish. We do have a la carte packages for certain portions of the campaign if you are more restricted on your budget, but this does include the creation of your page, the creation of your video, digital assets, your marketing strategy, research, all of that is covered here at Altos Business Group. We also have an established network of partners that are experts in their respective fields in the crowdfunding scene. So that whether that's the video scene, the image scene, or the marketing, we have an extensive network that works with us in tandem to create a campaign page that is maximized to reach its potential. And third, helping overseas startups and medium-sized companies successfully enter the US consumer market. And so as I mentioned within the introduction, we do help launch crowdfunding campaigns for overseas businesses as well. And so if you are from South Korea or any other country that is looking to launch a crowdfunding campaign for your next product line, feel free to reach out to us and we can get a conversation started and see if that can happen. And fourth, we do specialize within the technology and design category. And so if you are a biotech company and you have a specific technology for a hardware product that you feel like would be great for consumers, then this is something that you could utilize as well. And we would be more than willing to help out or at least provide consultation on how you can maximize your potential. And we do have a portfolio of raising over $10 million for our clients. And so we find that to be very successful because a lot of these companies start from literally nothing. They might have a prototype and that's all they have. And they'll come to us and be like, can you please help me launch a campaign and help me start this business? And so we're very excited to say that up until now, though the numbers may have risen since we've last looked at the numbers, but from what I've seen, it's been $10 million. It might be more though. And so that is the end of my presentation for crowdfunding. If you do have questions or would like to reach out, feel free to email me listed down below. I'm in at altosbusiness.com. You can also visit our website, www.altosbusiness.com, to take a more in-depth look at our services. And feel free to shoot me a text or call me if you would like to schedule a meetup so that we can discuss your future crowdfunding campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. That was a great presentation. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and that presentation ignited so many questions. And I would definitely contact Isaac directly to get more answers and find out about crowdfunding and Kickstarter. And with every other presentations that we have provided here, you can do the same. Download your app and send in the questions or connect directly. You're able to do that for the next whole year. So that is one of the greatest benefits that you get for downloading our app. So next we have our video presentation, and we'll feature a video on NGL Transportation, a full logistics service provider.
Established in 2006, NGL Transportation is an asset-based logistics provider, establishing coast-to-coast service and business operations in its currently 5 terminals located in California, Arizona, Texas, Georgia, and South Korea. With over a decade of experience in full logistics services, NGL Transportation has a fully equipped warehouse and multi-container yards with 220 fleets, 460 chassis, top hangars, a total of 22 plus acre yards, 53 feet van trailers, and 120,000 plus square foot space of warehousing. NGL is the only facility in the entire Southwest that is certified by U.S. Customs as a secure port of entry for ocean containers. With a brokerage team covering 48 states in the United States, NGL delivers high-quality services with competitive premium rates in both services and truckloads, safety net emergencies, and a wide variety of transportation services such as long and local drayage and FTL, warehousing and transloading, hazmat, bonded carriers, and chassis flipping services. NGL's high-velocity operation integrates all functions of trucking and warehousing with an IT platform for TMS, WMS, and YMS with real-time visibility and security. Warehouse services include storage and distribution, transloading, cross-docking, pick, pack, labeling, and fulfillment, reverse logistics, and Amazon FBA. Big or small, we will handle your business with a dedicated service and a response, because your success is our success. Please visit us at www.ngltrans.com.
All right, so is everyone ready to be lucky again? So we have now 5 drawings left before the grand prize, of course. And the lucky winners for $100 Visa gift cards will be drawn just in a moment. These gift cards are sponsored by our guest speakers, Tina and Helen, the sisters of D&H Distributing Inc. Thank you so much for your generosity. So I am excited to roll and spin. Ready? First winner, go. Stop. Congratulations, Mike Miller. Oh, there's a lot of wows. I think he's very popular. So congratulations. Okay, next, let's roll. Is the second winner. Congratulations. We're gonna keep moving. Let's go to the third lucky winner. Is our fourth winner. Dong-hyuk Han. Oh, he's our crew, the camera crew. Congratulations. Well deserved. We love to give away gifts to hardworking staff. All right, so let's go to the last 5th $100 Visa card winner. Ready? Go. Chang Kim is our last 5th Visa card winner, $100. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we have one more. I got too excited. Okay, the real last winner. Let's roll it. Stop. Young is our 5th lucky, who I almost skipped. Congratulations. I'm sorry I almost skipped you, but you will get your Visa card. Thank you so much. Now, again, we give big thanks to our guest speakers, exhibitors, and attendees. This was our first virtual Asian Business Expo, but we would like to continue to grow and become a part of this virtual community every year to be the bridge to connect all of you. The presentations and information provided to you over the past 2 days, along with the contact information for the sponsors, exhibitors, and attendees, is available to you through the app over the next year. We hope this virtual Asian Business Expo app can help all of us to network, thrive together during these challenging times. Together, we can. We are at the end of our presentation, but I encourage you to stay until the end so you can have the opportunity to win our grand prize. The grand prize is Ultra Notebook by Toshiba Tecra X40, generously donated by notebookshop.com in Cerritos. The President Jim Koo also opened his shop for us to host our event for the entire 2 days. Thank you very much, and shop your notebooks at notebookshop.com. And I feel like I need to win this grand prize because he made fun of my 15-year-old notebook. We will now have the closing remark from our president, Mr. Brian Chung. A round of applause for Mr. Brian Chung.
네, 안녕하십니까. 이번 행사에 참여해 주신 모든 분들께 다시 한번 감사의 말씀드립니다. I would like to thank all those who participated in the 2020 Virtual Asian Business Expo over the past 2 days. We would like to give special thanks to all of our sponsors, exhibitors, and attendees, as well as all of our behind-the-scene crews here at the studio who enabled us to host this great event. Thanks to your support, this expo was very successful. We hope that the relationship you built through this event and our mobile app will continue to the growth and success of your business. Please remember that the content of this expo will remain online for the next 1 year, continuing to serve as a window of communication with customers and partners around the world. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you again next year. I think our MC, Jesse Cho, already mentioned about the grand prize, what it is. All right, everybody ready? Virtually, we don't see each other, but okay, let's roll it. Okay, stop. Okay, Lena Kim is the grand prize winner, and congratulations. Congratulations and celebrations. Well, I tell everyone that you're in love.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay.
See you next year.
Okay, see you next year, and then stay safe. All right, and healthy. Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.